Welcome to the age of Anthropocene. So, what is that? A geologic era is something we use to keep track of the divide of major impacts and changes upon the Earth. Something like the meteorite wiping out the dinosaurs would be considered an end to an era and the start of a new one. As you can see, this chart includes all the geologic eras, from the Archean to the Holocene. But how come the Anthropocene isn't on this image? That's because it was only declared an era 2 years ago. Anthropocene was a largely debated topic as to whether or not it existed, because the Holocene had only been around for 10,000 years and the normal length is at least 1 million. Why did we decide to declare an era so early? That's because due to the accelerating growth of human advancements in the past 200 years has drastically changed the Earth. Things like nuclear warfare have introduced highly radioactive materials that have permanently affected our planet. What with the devastation caused at Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the Chernobyl disaster, as well as the radiation levels in Fukushima power plant still are exceedingly high since the tsunami hit it in 2011. Increase of pollution levels, non-biodegradable materials such as plastic, as well as deforestation has dramatically impacted our planet. What else is a large reason as to why the Anthropocene has been declared a new era? That would be the mass extinction of species, which is what we will be talking about today. Since 1978, over half of the animal population on Earth has been wiped out. Most of this has been due to the previous mentions as to why we're in the Anthropocene era. The human greed to feed off the land, the desire of money, and mass production of naturalistic materials has almost totaled our ecosystems. If we don't do anything to change this, it's predicted that in 100 years, over 90% of the animal population will be lost. What do you think the most invasive species is in America? I bet the first thing that came to your mind was zebra mussels hitching rides in boats, or Burmese pythons and iguanas taking over Florida. Well, you're wrong. It's house cats. After bringing our fuzzy companions over to catch pests when colonizing America, these little guys have devastated the bird population. With an estimated 70 million feral cats loose in America, cats alone have caused over 30 bird species to have gone extinct. And you wonder why your vet was so demanding about getting Fluffle spayed. What do you know about the Tasmanian devil? No, not that one. This little guy. Yikes! Scary, isn't he? Well, believe it or not, he shares his name with something much cuter and very, very extinct. This is the last known footage collected of the Tasmanian tiger. They used to hold the title of the largest marsupial. So, what happened to them? Fun fact, 1/3 of all recent mammal species have gone extinct in Australia. In the late 1800s, the government actually put a bounty on these creatures' heads, viewing them as a nuisance towards farmers. They were our equivalent to foxes or coyotes. Sadly, the bounty encouraged the eradication of the species, and no one has seen one of these guys since the 20s. But, that was a long time ago. Obviously, humanity has gotten better about species conservation. I mean, that's why we have zoos, right? Well, tell that one to the western black rhinoceros.
The black rhino here, is that it? Can't find one in the wild anywhere?
That's it. They're all gone. I mean, I think we knew they were on their way out, but it's a depressing day.
So, Kaylin, what are some species that are critically endangered? Well, I'm glad you asked. This video is about instilling depression, apparently. Well, to name a few, the Illipica. These guys haven't been seen in the wild for 20 years. Up until one was spotted about 2 years ago, anyway. The Amur leopard, and yeah, the snow leopard too. The black-footed ferret. Who would want to cause habitat loss for someone with such a cute face?
Instilling those wild behaviors.
Oh, never mind. The pangolin. The pygmy sloth. Aw, what a dork. Bluefin tuna. Hey, they're so good we're literally eating them into extinction. The leatherback turtle, the giant panda, and the elephant shrew.
Take a closer look at that snout.
Hey, Kaylin, you're probably thinking to yourself, this is interesting and all, but it's kind of a big letdown. Has the human race, arguably the most destructive and invasive species in the whole world, really been the cause for all of these animals to be completely or near to obliteration? Is there really nothing that anyone can do as humanity greedily sucks up all of their natural habitats, pollutes their resources, enough to the point where we've had to declare a new geologic era? Well, yeah, sorta. It's literally impossible to save species that have gone extinct. We can't really resurrect species long dead like in Jurassic Park.
To Jurassic Park. They do move in herds.
But we can save the endangered ones. Donating to zoos, wildlife parks, and other companies that make conservation their priority, as well as joining activist groups that participate in giving back to our local environment. Here's an idea, just a tad bit of common sense. Maybe don't purchase products made out of endangered species. It's just a thought. There are plenty more ways for giving back to the environment, but in my personal opinion, the only way this can really end is if we crush industrialization and the corrupt companies that are not only poisoning the environment, but the human race as well. But hey, that's just my 2 cents.
How do you know what's good for me? That's my opinion!
Calm in the undertone, just calm in the undertone.